All right, everybody, welcome. Today I got a friend of mine and longtime coach, helped me grow my sales team, has coached some of the top teams across the country, an expert when it comes to calling and scripting and everything for lead generation. So, Wally, tell everybody about yourself and what you're specialized in.
Specialize in it. Cool, man. Hey, thanks so much for having me. I've been a longtime friend with Matt, worked with him in real estate, also gotten to know him personally. So it's been over a decade for sure. And you folks that are associated with him, you're in the right place. This guy is a hard worker, and he's definitely committed to helping people grow their business. So you showed up at the right place at the right time when you met Matt. So this is my little unpaid plug for him. So for me, I've been in the real estate industry for 25 years. I've been coaching agents for 22 of those years. While I have been able to coach real estate agents across the United States and Canada on every aspect of their business, the last few years, I've really been spending time and helping people get good on the phone and figure out why they may have call reluctance or issues with getting in front of a video camera, or even just doing what they need to do to grow their business. So, it's been fun. And, I just published a book last year. I'm fortunate enough to be part of another one that's coming out in June. And, if you go check me out online, just Google Wally Bressler. There's lots of interesting and fun things about me online. So fun, I don't know, but interesting for sure. Cool. Yeah. So I'm ready to roll here, man. Let us know what's up.
Yeah, I mean, so today I just want to kind of cover the Fsbo conversation,
Yeah.
just to help. Fsbos in every market are always kind of available.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2023 now, so the last 2 years, Fsbo became more popular and more successful, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, agents have shied away from calling them. They have always shied away from it, but I guess I want to give the agents some good tips, how to find them, what to say to them, the best follow-up plans, and then we'll just kind of go
Mm-hmm.
back and forth on you know
Sure.
the best tips.
Nice. All right, let's do it. So I'm going to share my screen here. I want to kind of give some statistics about Fsbos to just further, the validity conversation that you were talking about. Hold on one second here. Remember, I'm here for my real estate sales skills and training, and not for my technology. So just don't forget that. All right.
I got your screen.
What's that?
I can see the screen.
Which screen can you see?
Looks like the NAR profile.
Oh, you can see it. Okay, good, nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you could see it, so that's good then. All right, so then let's just rock and roll and go over that then. Okay. See, it's saying it's not sharing here. That's the problem. So my bad. Now I can't see it. I literally had it up. Okay. Okay, let me see here. So let's do this. Sorry about this.
Good.
There it is. Now you can see it and I can see it.
Yep. Now I see your mouse. Perfect.
Okay, good. So let's take off here, and I appreciate your flexibility with me here. All right, so this is the NAR profile from 2021. The new one should be out by now. We're pretty close to it. So, but just want to do a couple of things here. So every year, the National Association of Realtors puts out a review of everything that happened in the real estate market everywhere in the United States. It's a really great document. There's like 160 plus pages every year. Historically, Section 8 is the Fsbo section. But I wanted to just point out a few things here. So you can see in this this is all for sale by owner here, right? So this is all for sale by owners. You can see, 30 years ago, just about, it was a huge amount of people, but it's basically settled over time. 21 was probably one of the lowest in history, just because the market was so crazy, but still 7% of the homes sold for sale by owner. So fact of the matter is, there's still a decent number of homes that are going on the market as for sale by owner. It's definitely higher this year, so, and now Fsbo's really need us. There's all kinds of good locations here, but I want to show you probably one of the most striking statistics. You can see that, all sellers were 314.5, but all Fsbo's that 2021 timeframe were just 260. Now remember, this is the number one year by volume, but the number 2 year by number of homes. So 2007 had 7 million homes sold. We got pretty close in 2021, but you know, it was, so from a volume standpoint, though, it was the highest home prices in history. And yet, even with sellers getting an average of this much, that's a median of this much, all Fsbo's got 260. It's a pretty significant difference. Would you agree? You know, it's a huge difference. And then an all agent assisted was 318. So fact of the matter is if you sold your home with an agent, you know, you picked up on average about almost 60 grand. You know, that's a huge amount of money. That's like a about 20% difference, a little bit more. So, you know, and here's the thing, you know, people are like, oh, well, what about this first Fsbo, then agent assisted? You know, my understanding here is a couple of things. Number one, they probably did themselves a disservice by having their home on the market for so long by itself, right? And then not having it sold. And the second thing is you know, at some point they probably had to really reduce the price of their home just to get it sold. So, but fact of the matter is for the most part, if you sold through an agent, you walked away with a whole lot more money. Okay.
And more than, I mean, at those numbers, that's more than the real estate commissions would even come close to.
Yeah, and you know, and we're gonna have part of that conversation a little bit because I'm gonna give you a strategy. I'm actually gonna share all these documents with you so you can give them to everybody. But you know, we're gonna talk about how you would use that to your advantage, that idea to your advantage when you go meet with people at the house. Okay. So let's do this here. And let's go to, we're gonna go.
Wait, hold on one sec, Wally. Go back to that screen. I teach a little bit of time blocking.
What's that, sir?
I said, can you go back to your schedule?
Oh,
I
yeah.
teach time blocking, and
Oh, yeah.
super, super impressive. So agents, just take a look at his calendar.
Oh, thank you.
Somebody who has mastered their calendar, I mean, almost every minute of every day is color coded and meetings. So that's super impressive. But go
Thank
ahead.
you, sir. I appreciate that. In my world, we call that job security. If you want to do a class on that, we can record a class on how to time block too, if that's important to you.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. So let's do this. So I'm going to go to Fsbo's Zillow. Let's just, you know, I'm just going to do Collin County out where I live here in Texas. Okay.
Mhm.
And you can do any county, you know what I'm saying, but Fsbo, Zillow, Collin County, Texas. So basically I go here and Collin County says 31. Can you see the page?
Yep.
All right. So I usually just remove the boundary here just to see what's happening. And then I kind of shrink it down so I can get a better idea of what I'm looking at here. So this is a greater DFW area. So you can see just in what's on the screen here, there's almost 500 Fsbos, right? But I live north of Dallas, and I'm not going down to Dallas. Most people don't. Well, some people do, but a lot of people, because there's so many homes sold, stay in a specific area. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on draw, and then I'm going to say, okay, I'll cover. Oops, I said I want to draw here. There it is. Okay, so I'll go like down here, and even this is kind of a bigger area than most people would cover. But I'll go here, and then I'll hit apply. And so that gives me about 33 Fsbos. Now, and there's bigger areas, you know what I'm saying? But you can, you know, and if you're using Vulcan 7, the Red X, Mojo Cells, Espresso Agent, or any of those other programs, you know, those are great. But if you don't have the money to invest in something like that, all this information is my favorite, FREE. Right. And so here's the thing. Once I get it, I can go over here and look at, you know, 28 days on Zillow. You know, price cut 6,000. 38 days on Zillow, 78 days on Zillow, price cut 13,000. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they've been on, a lot of these have been on for a while and have had price cuts. So some of these people are ripe for the picking. The other thing you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of vacant properties. A lot of investors put their properties on here, and some people actually move too. So the whole point is it's right here for you. All the, oops, oh, hold on a second. Let me just, so I went a little quickly. Let me slow down here. So you can see the houses, okay, and you can see when the pictures are not professional pictures. You can see when the house has not been staged properly, per se, messy desk, you know what I'm saying? So these are some things that you can share with people when you meet with them that could be working against them. I mean, overall, a nice house, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know that having the TV on is helpful in that picture either, but you know, but
The pictures are terrible. It's just,
they're horrific. Oh, that, I mean, I don't even know that's terrible. I'm not sure what's worse, that or Tom Selleck. So you know what's funny? I was watching a training video by one of the coaches in the country, really, really good coach. And I'm not speaking ill of them, but I just thought it was, because they do an amazing job. I just thought it was funny. They had that movie with Morgan Freeman and Dustin Hoffman, Outbreak, playing on the training video. I'm like, I can think of all the movies to play when somebody's at a house, and Outbreak would not be one of them. So
Right.
I just thought it was funny, and I'm sure it was completely unintentional. So look, these are not professional pictures. They're dark. This picture right here, this is, I mean, why? So anyway, so there's that. And then you can see the ever-present is estimate. Ugh. Okay. But tells you everything you need about the house. Okay. How long it's been on the market. So look, this is kind of, in my opinion, a good indicator of if it's priced right or not.
Yeah.
675 views, only 15 saves, right? So clearly the market here doesn't think that's a well-priced home. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Either that or they're out of their mind. So there's all kinds of information here, but you can take a look at. I wouldn't spend too much time getting involved in this, but the fact of the matter is it has what you need right here. The owner's phone number. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go over the script that you would use, but the goal is to get in front of somebody as soon as possible. That's really the big thing. Okay. So let's talk about the script that I would use to get in front of somebody to talk with them. Let's see here. Anything you want to bring up at this point before I move on to the next
Yeah,
slide?
I mean, so to looking at that listing, I have an approach of, I have a contact approach, right? So for me, it is contact, 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 right?
Yeah.
We don't try to get in the door to close a listing appointment that day, right? Because you're going to be, first of all, you're going to have some competition when calling for sell by owners, and some of them are really good realtors. So you have to you have good competition to go up against. So know your numbers, know your marketing, and show them how you can help. And if you help them week after week, and I have like a 9-week drip campaign for Fsbo.
Nice. Nice.
And that's where, something like the photos, we would say, hey, here's our photographer. If you'd like professional photos shot of your home. Second thing, who are you letting in your home? Here's a security checklist. Is your wife going to show your house alone?
Yep.
Here's a mortgage company. You should have everybody who doesn't show you a pre-qual get qualified. And with enough information, they might feel like, well, this is a bigger project. Maybe I should have a professional. And week by week, at the end of my messages, it's always, and by the way, I'm giving this information at no cost to you. My only request is that if you decide to hire a realtor, I get to apply for the job.
Right.
And
to your point, the reason that people aren't hiring real estate agents is not that they don't like realtors. That's number 3. I think the number 1 reason is they think they're saving money. And then usually when they finally do end up hiring a realtor, which is, in the 70s, 80s, in that range %, it's because that agent was helpful to them in most cases. So that, because when obviously, you want to win the listing, get a commission, all that stuff, so you can take care of your family. But when your thoughts about what I can do for you and how I can help you, and that comes across genuinely and authentically, that's really when you hit the mark with people. So let's take a quick look. And actually, your system, where is that available to the folks in your organization?
So we are going to package it up to be able to drop into CRMs. So
okay, nice.
But I'll give it, I'll share like a list of what I've made.
Okay, cool.
All the different worksheets.
Yeah, so I guess maybe you could throw in what I give you plus that'll be a pretty robust package. So here's the thing, like Matt said, and this is really the job of any phone calls to get in the door. This script works. It works really well. In fact, Kinder and I put this together probably when you were 12. And no, I'm just kidding. This thing's old, but it works so well. We've updated a little bit, but it's amazing. Sometimes we got all this new stuff, but there's so many things that are still like the basics that work so well. I think sometimes we get away from it because we're trying to be different in such a way that it doesn't work, but this is fantastic. So we're trying to get in the door here because I know when I get in the door, I can build rapport better, right? I can't have a conversation with somebody about the price of their home and, the pictures about their home and all kinds of other stuff over the phone. It's just not going to work because I don't have any rapport. I don't have any, I don't have any authority. I don't have any credibility. So anything I say is going to be, taken very I was going to say opposite of seriously. They're just not going to take it very seriously at all. So I want to get in the door so I can have that conversation and start building that relationship. So real simple, and here's the thing, I don't call and say, can I speak to the owner of 123 Main Street? You're begging them to hang up on you, or you're begging them to take you and listen like a telemarketer, right? So you know, I'm okay with saying, is this the owner property of? I've kind of augmented a little bit and just saying, hey, Matt, it's Wally calling. I was calling about 123 Main Street. Hey, is that still available? Okay, this is written from an ISA's perspective. Okay, but I've changed this a little bit. Hey, Matt, it's Wally calling, and I was calling about the house 123 Main Street. Is it still available? Okay, and they'll be like, "Are you a real estate agent?" You're like, yeah, I am. And they sometimes are going to say, "Look, we don't want to work with it. We don't, we don't want to work with agents." And you say, "Look, I understand you might not want to. I work with agents all day long. I get it." Chuckle, chuckle. But most cases they're like, "Yeah, it's still available." Maybe they say, "What do you want?" You go, "Look, I'm curious." And by the way, I didn't get your name, or if I have their name, Matt, but I'm curious. I didn't get your name, Matt. Okay. If we had a buyer that was willing to pay your price and close in a time that was acceptable to you, would you be open to paying us a 3% commission? You're going to get yes, you're going to get no, you're going to get 2%. You don't care. You're just trying to find out where the number is on their side. For the most part, people are willing to pay that, because they think
Yeah,
they're
I rarely run into a
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Sometimes they say, "What is a buyer's agent commission?" or
Mhm.
"Why would I pay you?" And
Yeah.
explain, like, yeah, it's if I bring you a buyer next week, would you be willing
Mhm.
to pay half the commission just for me doing my side?
Yeah. And almost everybody's cool with it. And even if they say no, that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. We're getting the answers to questions, so we know what kind of conversation we're gonna have when we get there. Okay. So great. And the other thing is you want to keep track of the numbers here as you're talking to them, and I'll explain why towards the end here. And say, listen, hey, Matt, the real estate market is still hot, and we're working with hundreds or whatever number of buyers you have in your database of serious buyers that are waiting for the perfect home to hit the market. I can't tell you. Make sure you say this right here. Do not say this. Do not forget to say this, because I hear a lot of times they came over, they told me they're gonna get, I got to the door and they were expecting me to have a buyer. Right? Say this. Look, I can't tell you for sure if we have a buyer that matches your home's criteria, but that's the reason I'm giving you a call. Would it be okay if our company included information about your home to our list of qualified buyers? They're going to say yes. Now, if you want and you want to amp it up a little bit, say, listen, if you'll give me your email address, I'll go ahead and I'll blind carbon copy you. I'll BCC you an email to the group so you can see, that we're getting it out to those few hundred people that I know. Sometimes they'll say yes, and then that way, you BCC them and they see you sent the email out. And when you do send the email, don't put the address and just say, hey, listen, great colonial, 4-bedroom, 2.5 baths, 2-car garage, Persimmon Woods neighborhood, Flatley School District, whatever you got to put in there. If you're interested, give me a call. We'll get you out there to look at it. Okay. And say, great. Hey, could you hold on a sec. Could you tell me a little bit more about your home? And it's funny because you're going to get yes, and they'll start like diarrhea of the mouth and start talking about everything. Or they're going to say, well, it's online. Take a look and say, yeah, I did see it online, but you're going to know more about your house and you're going to be able to tell me some of the things I can't see online. Could you just tell me a little bit more about it? The whole point is we want to get them talking. Excuse me, we want to start having a conversation. Now, granted, question asking is not the best rapport building strategy. However, if you can get them talking, then you can use tone of voice and other strategies to your benefit over the phone to get them to start feeling more comfortable with you. Just let them roll. Say whatever they want to say. They can take as long as they want. Ask a few questions, and then say, okay, let's see here. So, hey, that sounds great. Sounds like you're really nice home. By the way, if the house does not sound nice and it doesn't look nice and it's a piece of crap, don't say that it is.
Right.
There's no reason to lie,
Yeah.
right? So let me ask, would you come up with an asking price? They may tell you the price, or they may say, well, it's online. Can't you see it? Yep. You know what? But unfortunately, Zillow doesn't update their numbers that quickly. And so I just want to make sure we're still on the same page for price. Now, here's an interesting thing you need to know. Zillow does not give Fsbo's favored status when they're letting properties and stuff come up. And the reason is because there are real estate agents paying millions of dollars collectively around the country to be featured agents and stuff like that. So they're not going to let a Fsbo, most cases, rise to the top of a search when they got somebody who's footing the bill for what they do. So, and you could bring this up. What's on Zillow? Okay, great. Well, we love, if you want to, you can say that. I wouldn't say it over the phone. It's probably something best left for face to face again, because it's like going on a first date and meeting with somebody and saying first thing out of your mouth is, I thought you'd be better looking. Like that's just not it's not a good way to start the date.
Right.
Okay. And then we need price, and we got timing and motivation, probably the two most important things you need from anybody you're going to go meet with. So would you come up with an asking price? If you don't mind me asking, why have you decided to sell? And number two, do you have a time frame in mind as far as when you'd like to be moved? You would be shocked at the number of people who have kind of hung themselves out to dry and have already found another home.
Yeah.
right? And like, new construction, or they've even moved or something like that. And now they're dangerously close to carrying 2 homes. Right. I
Yeah,
want timing.
that's like it's happened to me over and over again. Like you'll make this call and then they're like, "Oh yeah, I have to move in 2 months," and you're like, "Wait a second, like
Yeah.
man, I could barely sell it to get you out of your house.
Yeah, right.
You
You're
want?
like,
Are you
yeah,
planning
yeah.
to pay 2 mortgages? Is that okay with you?"
Let me ask, are you really quick question? Are you on medicinal marijuana? Like what's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, we it's legal now here in New Jersey, so
Okay. Well, I'm just saying,
medicine
illegal or not, you can still be on medicinal marijuana, right?
right,
I'm just, don't ask that question, by the way, boys and girls.
right.
So that would be a bad thing. So here we're just trying to get timing motivation. So let me just step back here for a second.
Yeah.
Every real estate agent needs to have a business model. Okay. Right. If I go to Olive Garden, I can't get chicken chow mein. Right. I can't go to McDonald's and get vichyssoise. Every business that's out there has a model, and they stick by it. Right.
Yep.
Your model needs to be such that you know who you're going to meet with and who you're not going to meet with. Okay. The good news with Fsbos is that they're all usually looking to sell right now. But in general, I'm only going to meet with people who are looking to sell within 90 days or less, who have equity in their house and have a life event as a reason to move. Okay. Those are the people I really want to meet with. Okay. Life events, birth, death, getting a job, leaving a job, marriage, divorce. Okay. Something that's got a hard date associated with it. The good news is usually Fsbos meet all 3 of those criteria. But if they don't, if they're just taking a flyer, they're just testing the market for price, you may not want to spend any time with them. Okay. So just take that for checking. Okay. So get the information, get the timing, get the motivation, take a stab at that. Hey, have you had any offers on the home? If they say no, go, really? If they say yes, go, what's happened? Okay. You're going to hear from them, oh, well, we've got a lot of interest. I mean, they may as well sound like real estate agents at that point. Oh, we've got a lot of interest. A lot of people are showing.
Yeah.
Someone said they're going to bring me an offer by the end of the week. Whatever. Okay. So you know what? There's a difference between listening and hearing, right? Listening is actually processing what's coming in. Hearing is just acknowledging that sound's coming your way. Just hear that. Don't listen to that. Okay. So let them tell you, say, okay, is there a point at which you might consider interviewing agents to sell the property? So it's a little trial close here, a nice friendly one. Okay. We're just trying to see where their motivation is. The longer they've been on the market, the closer they are to this. At this point, they may even tell you that they have a friend or a family member in the market. Whatever. That's another hear and don't listen to thing. Okay. Earlier, you mentioned you were asking $400,000 for your home. If we had a cash buyer that was looking to close on your timeline, what do you think your bottom line dollar would be? Very, very non-threatening, and then they'll say, hey, you know what? I'm not coming off a penny. So, or let's just say, I'll go down to $395. Is $395 your bottom line price? If they say yes, so now they're willing to pay a 3% commission. That's 12 grand, right? And now they're willing to come off another 5. So it's 17 grand. So you're 4% already. You've already, like you're 2/3 of the way to your 6% if you go with that. Okay. Does that make sense? So, and then I'm going to explain how you can close that gap when you get to the house. Great. Well, look, hey, Matt, there's no question you have a great home, and there's a good chance we may be already working with a buyer that would be interested. What I'd like to do is set up a time for us to stop by and see the home. Would there be a time, maybe sometime this week, we could come take a look at it? What would work best for you? You almost always will be able to get in the home with this. If they say we're not working with agents, say, listen, that's fine. What if my client pays my commission? Would that be okay? Yes. Great. And you can negotiate your fee as a closing cost on the transaction. And I'm sure we can talk about that at some point too. So great. So we'll meet Saturday at 3:00. Now, a lot of people say I've got an open house this weekend from like 1 to 4, or this Saturday 1 to 4. Show up at like either 4:05, 4:02, right? Show up at the very end so there's nobody there. That makes sense. You don't want to be there when other people are there. Matt, right. You want to add some of that?
And most like personally, that's something that I tell agents in our market to offer. Sit in open house with them. They'll you'll build rapport while nobody shows up.
Yeah.
Because they don't have access. Look, could people show up? Sure. But Zillow's going to bury the listing, and so are most of the other sites. So it's really word of mouth that's getting it around, or a couple for sale signs. So, the truth is you're going to sit there, and if they're home, you're going to have some time there to talk to them. And now you did some free work for somebody who will probably feel obligated to make sure you get the opportunity to apply for the job when the time is right.
100%. Yep. Absolutely. Good stuff. And so we're going to do one more little trial close. One last thing. If I could show you a way that I can net you more money by working with us in transaction, would you be open to working with me when a time comes that you're interested in interviewing agents for the job of selling the home? Okay. This is key thing to ask because we're going to circle back on this when we get to the house. Great. Thanks for your time. We look forward to seeing you. I would send them an invite through calendar just to remind them, and then you're on your way. So that's it. I mean, that should get you in the house 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I get to the house. What am I doing? Well, great question. I'm glad you asked, Wally. So this data right here, we just talked about this. This is from a couple of years ago, but it's still the same thing. You can see this working with Fsbo's thing here. Okay, so this is just data from a couple of years ago. It's the same information, just prices were just a little lower. You can still see the huge difference between homes sold by an agent and not. In fact, it was even bigger here. I think this was like 19 or something like that. So it's always huge. And it's always more than always, and I mean this always because I've been following this for ever. It's always more than the commission too. It's almost twice the commission usually, if not more. Okay, so we talked about this before, but they're also leaving a lot of money on the table.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We need to show people and not just tell them. Okay, so what you're going to bring with you is you're going to bring the NAR profile, or at least that page from the NAR profile. I'd get it laminated if I were you. I'd print up that page with the chart from the graphic I was going to share with you. I'd print that up. Get the 20. By the way, go grab the 2022 profile on the NAR page. It's $19.95. It's short money. It's great data. Go ahead and print up the page in color and laminate it. Okay, so that way you can have it with you. All right. So you're going to treat. You're going to say something.
Nope. Go ahead.
So you're going to treat this just like a listing appointment to the extent that you're going to, have the same attitude, same approach. Now, look, you still need to get to know these people. So you're going to go in and do a walkthrough just like you would with a listing. Okay. Hey, can I put my stuff at the kitchen table? Perfect. Hey, who's going to take me for the grand tour? If whoever says, hey, I'll do it, or honey, you do it, that's the person who likely has a bigger hand in what's going to happen as far as who they choose and if they choose to work with somebody. So do not shortcut this process. Now, look, I mean, we're getting to the point of the year where you should be able to do an exterior or an interior and an interior view of the property. In most states, not every state, but in the next month or two, you'll be able to do it. But walk outside, walk inside. You folks where they have basements, go into the basement. Okay. Get talking to them, build rapport, use that, as Tony Robbins would say, use your physiology to get in rapport with them. So matching and mirroring body movements, voice, and how they lean, how they stand. And then also using affinity to your advantage. Find things that are similar between you and them in the house, talk about them, right? You want them to really get to know you really well and for you to get to know them and feel comfortable with you. The more comfortable they feel with you, the more they're going to tell you. And if you've never watched, and I love doing this, go on YouTube or just Google FBI or police interview techniques. Okay. They have a very specific strategy that they use, the way they ask their questions and what they do. And if you notice, if you watch every video, virtually every one of those people at some point makes a drink available with food, because we are trained to relax and enjoy ourselves when we're sitting around food, because we've been doing it since we're little kids in most cases with our family. So it's pretty interesting. Okay. Plus they don't give them caffeinated soda. What else? I'm trying to think. They don't give them caffeinated soda. They don't give them ice. I'm saying it's pretty cool. But anyway, the whole point is you want to get to know them, because that's going to inure to your benefit down the road. After you're done, walk back to the kitchen and say, hey, can I see your seller's disclosure? And when you ask for that, what are they going to say, Matt?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, what's that? Right. So to build on what Matt talked about earlier, this is, you're the helpful agent. Oh, you don't have one. Oof. Wow. Okay, good. Seriously, go, oof. Whatever you would do to go, wow. Right. Because it is concerning. It is concerning that, because here's the thing, the number one reason for lawsuits in every court in every state of the United States, in every city, are disclosure issues, either between agent and client or client to client.
Yeah, and we're seeing an uptick now because so many people, had to bid against so many, other people. They skipped their inspections, they signed off, and there may not be a valid lawsuit on that, but the issue becomes, well, the seller hid this now. So now it wasn't, hey, I chose not to do an inspection because I had to pay, compete with 30 people. But now I clearly see there's been water coming in this home through the basement, for 20 years and this guy didn't tell us that.
Yeah, and
You
that
know?
storm, yeah, that storm's coming. That's like,
Right, right.
yeah,
And it's already happening. You know, I've
yeah.
seen stuff recently. So
Mhm.
definitely, and they're not required in our state, but as a realtor, I'll tell you guys, because we've done a lot of research on this lately. As a realtor, you are much more protected if you have a disclosure sign in
Mhm.
the state of New Jersey. Um,
Always.
they can sue you for triple damages if not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And, and to your point, just because it's not valid, it's like anything on the face of the planet. You could 1000% be in the right. You could 1000% prove that you're right, but guess what? You still have to pay to defend yourself.
yeah,
Okay. So, you know what? Do everything you can to have a paper trail that protects you as an agent and for your clients as well. In fact, in 21 and or 20, late 2021 or early 22, I was having my clients have their buyers sign like a document that I had them create that says, hey, listen, I understand I'm waiving the inspection and that things might pop up down the road and that I completely understand that. And that, I'm not going to go after you
yeah,
as a real estate agent, whatever I could do to, I mean, you can't listen, here's the thing. You can't, contract away fraud. So if you do something fraudulent, that's one thing, but you got to do things to try and protect yourself. All right. Number two, when you're done, go to the kitchen and ask the question. Oh, you don't have one. Okay, great. Well, good. I brought one with me and give it to them. Most states have the state driven one and then a standard one. Do not give them the state driven one because it's not a listing. There's usually every state has one that's like a little different or it's not connected to you being a real estate agent. Give them that one because they're not real estate agents and say, look, there are unscrupulous buyers out there that would love to buy your home. And then after they close, try and sue you for not disclosing something to them properly. And if you don't have one of these, it's hard to protect yourself. So, and here's the thing, if you do that, then any money you might save by selling yourself, you're going to give to an attorney. So take this, fill it out in detail. If it's a yes, put a yes. If it's a no, but it's a no. If you don't know, say, I don't know. Put all the dates in that you can and fill it out completely. Fill in everything, even if it's NA, and then sign it and date it, make copies and give it to everybody that walks through the home. Okay. Super important. Okay. Super, super important.
and that just establishes that credibility that
Yeah.
and somebody else who might have called and tried to get in the door and said I have a buyer that didn't really have a buyer. All
Mhm.
those you're setting yourself apart and you're raising the standard for them.
Mhm.
To when they have conversations, if they get cold called every week by other realtors,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
somebody that doesn't say any of this stuff, they're gonna be like, this guy doesn't even know what the last guy told him.
Mhm. Yep. Absolutely. And
So
you can be assured that a lot of agents are going on the door and saying, geez, you need to reduce the price of your house if you want to get it sold. Like,
yeah, and back to you do a walkthrough in here. Understand most of these listings are very proud homeowners, right? They think their home is better, and that's most listings in general. But
right. Mhm.
the for sale by owner is a
Special breed.
yes. Floyd Wickman always said you have to
Floyd.
uncocky them, right? Like because they're so cocky about their house, and it's
Right.
like you just got to bring them down a little bit to reality, but you don't do it until you have a contract signed, right? So when you're walking through that home, don't point out things that are like, hey, I would fix that or whatever. If they ask you, would you fix that? Sure. Well, I would, but don't point out things like CO things and stuff like that because they may take it as this guy just came in and told me my house sucked and I
Yeah.
have the nicest house in the world, even though nobody came to see it yet.
Again, it's that whole thing of you don't go to somebody's house and or you don't go on a date with somebody and then tell them, hey, you're ugly. I didn't think you were that good looking. In fact, while you're here and you can see this, I pressed the wrong button and had to go back. You can still see the page.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, even whether it's a regular listing appointment or a Fsbo listing, at no point before you build rapport or even probably before you start talking about pricing, should you give them any negative feedback about their home. What do you think about the carpet? Well, here's the thing. It all depends on how much money you want to walk away with, but let's talk about that. I'll put that on the shelf. Let's talk about that.
Mhm.
Do you think we need to replace the cabinets? I mean, it might be something we need to do based on how much money you want to work with, but they're perfectly fine as is. Or if they definitely need to be done, say, yeah, maybe, but again, it really has to do with what your goals are and whatnot, which we'll talk about. Try not to do anything that's going to insult them or hurt their feelings. You know what I'm saying? Same, but the same token, like I said earlier, if it's not nice, don't say it's nice. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
So, and some people are insecure about their home, they're kind of needy. So they may ask you those questions.
Yep.
All right. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and then cover some market data. After that, say, hey, listen, I really follow the market very closely. If you know, what I'd like to do is kind of go over what's going on in the market. You can use real market reports. Altos has free reports online that you can use where you can, share that information with them on a laptop or a tablet. The whole point is you're trying to establish your credibility. Now you're just going to, hey, listen, this is what's happening in the market here. Here's, you said your house is worth $450,000 or $400,000. This is what's going on in the $400,000 price range as far as absorption is concerned and pricing and things like that. Do not give them what you think the price of the house is. Now, a buying question is, what do you think about the price of our home? That's a buying question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say, so here's the thing, the price of the home that I would get you would be based on the marketing that I do. Okay. And, my system, if we're using the NAEA system, we get our sellers up to 18% more than the methods used by traditional real estate agents. Or you can say, I get my clients about 4.2% more on average than what other agents do, but the price I would get you would be based on what I do for marketing. Do you have some time now for me to sit down with you and kind of go over that? I've gotten listing appointments on the spot there. Okay. I don't try too hard, but I've gotten, you can ask. I mean, that's a buying question. You know what I mean? And then if,
It leads you to that conversation. Don't let
yeah,
it, don't
yeah,
waste another trip.
No, yeah, right. If that comes up, you're like, your spidey sense should be tingling. Okay.
Yeah.
And good point, Matt. Thank you. And so, okay, great. And if they say, no, no problem, I'm going to lead this here with you. Okay. So now you've been helpful. You've established some authority. You've established some credibility. And then you're going to, okay, great. Listen, I really appreciate your time today. Thanks for having me here. I'm going to head out. And then you go, oh, before I go, I want to share one other thing with you. Right. It's almost like you want them to let their guard down, like, oh, thanks, they're leaving. Okay, he's leaving. Right. All right, I'm going to head out. Thanks for your time. And oh, by the way, one more thing. And you pull out the thing from the NAR report and you show them the page. And you kind of go over it like I did. Say, hey, listen, I respect the fact that you want to sell your home yourself. Makes perfectly good sense. I appreciate that you're wanting to save money. But I do have a concern and I want to share that with you. And then to show them, say, listen, this is 2021. This is the single hottest market in real estate history ever. Home prices increased as much as anything. Homes sold for faster than ever before, multiple offers. So great news, right? Here's the bad news, that even in one of the hottest markets in history, the average for sale million or less on the left, almost, I think it's 21% of their equity in the table. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? 21% of their equity in the table.
Trying to save 6% is the crazier part.
What's that?
Just trying to save 6%.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And now, so I said I would circle back to this. So, hey, listen, my fee isn't even a third of that. Right. So I could literally just stick my sign in your front lawn and put it on the MLS and get you more money than you can get yourself. Mm-hmm. But because of my marketing strategy and things I do, I know I can do a whole lot more than that and get a lot more of that money in your pocket. So my question is if I can show you, remember I said the script is, so you say a thing at the end, if I can show you how I can get you more money for your home, even after my fee than you could get for yourself, would you be willing to sit down with me for 20 minutes or so I can show you how I do that? And if they say yes, when would be a good time to do that? Hopefully you can do it right there. If not, go ahead and say thank you, go back to the office, and then a thank you note, put Matt's 9-week program in place, and stay on top of them like a rat in a Cheeto, because they're going to list most cases. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So that's kind of the thing, and to your point, you can offer them, hey, listen, let me do an open house for you. The only thing you said, you'd be willing to pay a 3% commission. So if I find somebody, we'll fill out a 1-day agreement where I can come do an open house. And if I find somebody, I'll go ahead and do that. And you've got what's it called? Eventbrite. I think Facebook Marketplace has changed a little bit. You might do it before Facebook Marketplace. You can send an email out to every real estate agent in your area. You can hit up your database. You can put it on Facebook. You can record videos, put it on Instagram. Here's the thing. There's still a shortage of listings, ladies and gentlemen, right? We still need to get homes sold. And if you can get a Fsbo and make it available to folks, now look, if they bring a co-op agent, then you're going to have to talk to the seller ahead of time and say, listen, if I do bring somebody, what would you be willing to do completely? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, we're allowed. So there's times when I've helped for sell by owners, and we just charge a flat fee for the paperwork.
Yep. And here's the thing.
They sell it themselves, and that's good with us. And in that case, I would say, hey, if somebody comes in represented, are you willing to pay, me a flat fee to just do your side of the paperwork? This way you can kind of help that transition. And again, it's one of those things you can offer in that, follow-up program. Like, hey, if you sell it yourself, by the way, are you going to hire an attorney? Just so you know, you can hire me and we can get both sides to the table while an attorney is only going to represent you and may, potentially muddy the waters between that buyer.
Because they're not real estate agents. I would try and ask for a point on that if you could, at least, what I'm saying, if not a half a point, but a point. But here's the thing, you can even say this too: if they haven't bought a house and they're buying a house, look, here's the deal. I'll do this open house for you. Are you willing to pay that fee to somebody else? Okay, great. I'll charge you a very nominal fee to help you, go through the whole process and help protect you. And then I just need you to just buy a home through me, and then you win. You know what I'm saying? So, because it's very likely they're buying a home that's equal to in value or even a little bit more. And it's not about making every penny you can make on everybody.
Yeah.
So anyway, and it really comes down to that. So anyway, I'm going to attach all these documents to the chat so you can share them with everybody, and they can kind of like romper them. They can follow along as we're talking.
Wherever people are finding this, if it's on YouTube or something, I'll have instructions in the description on how to get them. But no, this is great information, and Fsbos are something that some people solely rely on in the real estate sales business, and I know several agents that are still doing it year after year, and every year they close a certain amount. So make it a part of your business. And sorry, my contractor's out front. Of course. Make it a part of your business with the rest of the opportunities. And like, I went to real estate school 22 years ago, and they were talking about for sale by owners then, and they're still talking about it in every class and every training course, new startup for realtors. They always bring up the conversation of expireds and for sale by owners. So
and I want to just bring up one other thing if I could. Sorry, I'm uploading these things as you're talking and I'm talking here. It's not like there was a time, and it may be coming back, but there was a time where agents made their entire living off of just working with expireds or just working with Fsbos or whatever. What I'm saying? I mean, there was a time when that happened, but we are in a position now where we have more real estate agents in the market, even if even with the almost 100,000 agents that left the market in the first 3 months of the year, believe it or not. Even with that, there's still a lot of agents here, so it's tough to really make expireds or Fsbos, a 100% completely sufficient vertical in your business. That said, look, if you could sell one Fsbo a month, I mean, if you could sell 6 Fsbos, what I'm saying, in your market, most markets across the country, that's going to be a minimum of probably what, 50 grand, GCI, give or take.
Yeah.
So I'm not
it's
saying
only
that's
going to help you get better too, right?
Yeah,
These
of course,
are hard conversations. So, I when I teach agents, what do you do? What do you like to do? How do you want to be a salesperson? Of course, everybody would have call reluctance, right? We're going to cover call reluctance on another call. But in general, like, you want to learn that conversation, whether you continue to do it, in your career, or just say, you know what, I did the first sale by owner thing and expires, and it's just not me. I'd rather do open houses. I'd rather do community events. I'd rather do, but you still need the salesmanship that comes out of conversation.
Yep, 100%.
That's what this, learn it, get good at it, and then decide if it's something you want to keep in your business.
Yeah, and to your point, some of these people are going to have to buy a home too.
Yeah. Yep. Listings have babies, right?
Yeah, that's Michael Reese. That's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of going back, cool.
Yeah.
That's all I have for today, sir.
Yeah, man. Well, great job, Wally. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate you.
I will be in touch. I'm gonna hit this real quick. All right, everybody. We'll be in touch.